This is the brand new Bender Royale from Electro Harmonix. I'm going to show you how it sounds in a mix first. I'm playing live, there are no overdubs, just me, bass and drums. This is Electro Harmonix take on the famous Tone Bender Mark III fuzz pedal. We have some more controls on this one, and I'm going to take you through them all. Volume, easy, that's volume. Same with fuzz, easy. Bass, easy. Treble, you get it. And then we have bias. Then you can get that more starved, dying battery sound. It gets a bit more spitty and your sound can sort of glitch out when you max this. Then you have blend, which makes this pedal also really cool for bass. You can blend in your clean signal, and I'm also going to show you how you can use that with your guitar. You can blend in your clean signal if you want to. I find that a bit weird, but we are sort of like blending it with an overdrive pedal. That is a really cool thing to do. You have a fat switch and you have a couple of clipping options up here. This is my clean tone. I'm using my Shotmaker Songstress amp. We are starting with the bias all the way to the left, then we are not starving the circuit. And it sounds like this. Let's add in the Spruce Goose overdrive, also from Electro Harmonix. Let's see how that sounds alone. And then we are combining these two pedals with the blend knob. That's a cool way of adding a different character to it, and it's a bit more defined when you have the overdrive blended in. Yeah, it sounds weird with just the clean signal blended in my opinion. Works for bass though, but with a blend and a overdrive or maybe a different fuzz, that's really cool. And by the way, you can use it like this, on and off, but also if you tap and hold, it works as a momentary switch. Let's see. Which is cool. Let's get a couple more sounds before we conclude this video. Cool, it sounds awesome. I definitely prefer the fat switch on, which tells me that the original circuit is a bit thinner sounding. Usually with old fuzzes, I definitely prefer to have a upgraded version because they definitely have some flaws. So yeah, I prefer the up version. I think I prefer the LED clipping. A bit more punch in that one. The clean blend is a nice touch, especially for the bass players. As I said in the video, definitely experiment with putting a overdrive or a different fuzz either before or after if you want to use the blend with guitar. I don't see the point for me necessarily to blend in the clean signal. Sometimes a tiny bit maybe to get a bit more definition, but still I would prefer to use that with an overdriven signal. I also find that I'm pushing the bass a bit, which again tells me that that's probably something that the original circuit needs. The bias is also cool, but I prefer it in this like area. Most of the time in this video I just landed on having it off, and you still have a tiny bit of that bias feel, even though when it's sort of off on the pedal. Yeah, great take on that circuit. It's so fun to try something from Electro Harmonix again. And one thing that I forgot to say, I really like the mid-range in this pedal. My amp is set really clean, cleaner than I used to do before in demos to avoid any like distortion coming from the amp. I want you to hear the distortion in this. If you do that with the big muff coming from Electro Harmonix, you will often get a mid-scooped sound. With this, it's a bit more rich and thick in the mids. I don't know, that might be interesting to you if you find the big muff to be a bit lacking in the mids without using it with a cranked amp or an overdrive pedal together with the big muff. So yeah, thick in the mids and it sounds awesome. Bender Royale from Electro Harmonix. Nice one. See you in the next video. Goodbye.